What's going on, beautiful people? This is the Perspective Chasers podcast, and I'm your host, John. On this episode, I want to talk about loneliness. Now, it's obviously this time of year has got me thinking a lot about it, and obviously there's a lot of life in general. But obviously the feeling of loneliness and being alone are two different things. You can feel lonely as hell in a crowded room, and you could feel content as anything on your own. Do you know what I mean? But understanding that at any one point we all need companionship of one form or another. I was having a conversation the other day and we was talking about one person, no matter how versed they are in survival, inevitably their chances of surviving on their own completely is slim to none. Even if you are the most well-versed person at survival, if anything happens to you and takes you out of commission, you break your leg, you get ill, you got nobody to lean on, it's only a matter of time. So it's the same for life. You may be able to be in solitude in your room or just keep your head down at work and grind for a little while, but eventually you're going to need to lean on somebody, you're going to need to talk to somebody. I think we all look for those back and forths in life. I know I do, for sure. If I've had a little thought, or even if I just want to have that back and forth, I find myself craving the company of other people. And it's not all the time. Sometimes I can go weeks without really bothering to talk to many people, or especially seeing people in person these days. But other times you really do feel the absence. And you just want some company, even if it's somebody else to just sit in the room while you do different things. You just want to not be alone. And it's always going to come and go in life. There's no stopping it, I think. I think even if you're in a long-term relationship with somebody and you're with somebody day in, day out, you can still feel lonely, although there's somebody there. They can feel distant, you can feel distant. There's so many variables. So when it comes around to this time of year and people are thinking about who they've got to be with and who they can spend time with, spare a thought for the people that don't have anybody to spend time with them. And if you are one of those people, understand that there are other people like you that don't know who to spend time with in that. And if you reach out, you might be able to find some common ground with people and stop each other feeling lonely. I know anytime I start to feel lonely, especially more these days, I tend to be a lot more honest with people. If they shoot me down they're busy or whatever, so be it. But at least I didn't avoid confronting the feeling. And that kind of helps one way or the other. So if I shout at a friend and say, look, you busy, you want to do something, or a little bit lonely, or just want some company, want to have a bit back and forth or whatever, and they say yeah, great, I've got some company. If they say no drama. At least I put it out there, and then just knowing that I tried to kind of put an end to that loneliness or an end to that cycle can sometimes bring me out of it. Or even just having that conversation, knowing that, oh yeah, I would, but I've got work early in the morning, or I've got this, or I've got that. Just having an interaction with somebody sometimes is enough. But obviously with Christmas round the corner now, when you see everybody getting together and having a good time and everything else, it must be difficult for those that truly are alone. I mean, for me, I do have people around me and I've got my little one beyond anything else. But even still, I feel the absence. I feel the absence of the people that I wish were still here, and I feel the absence of people that I haven't even met yet. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of variables when you're talking about loneliness, and there's a lot of things that can trigger it. Sometimes it could be the type of conversation or the type of company that you're missing, for lack of a better word. The word escapes me at the minute. But there's loads of reasons to cause your loneliness, and realistically, it will come and go all throughout life. So try not to let it stand in your way. And if you are feeling a little bit lonely, try to put yourself out there a bit. I know it's probably been said a million times over, but I thought about this for myself yesterday, because I had a rare day to myself and I ended up just chilling around the house and didn't do much. But then I sat there at the end of the day looking back and I was like, if I would have just gone out and just done something I don't normally do, just broke my pattern, I could have had an interaction that I never normally have. I could have spoken to a new person, made a new friend, or done something completely different out of the blue. But yet instead I chose to stay in my comfort zone. I chose to take the day off and just lounge around the house doing nothing. And although sometimes you do need rest in that, that's all that I got from that day, was a bit of rest. There's nothing that really carried over into the next day. I didn't get much work done. I didn't do anything amazing or extravagant. Didn't have no new interactions or anything like that. So in terms of like utilizing my free time, I realized I literally just wasted the day away. And I don't like doing that. So maybe that's something to work on for myself and maybe even yourself. But I want to waste less days. Like, lonely or not, like if I can get out and do stuff and I'm just out doing stuff in the world instead of away in my house on the computer or just whatever, like I stand far more chance of having interesting interactions. And right now, that's kind of what I'm pursuing. Like, I like talking to people, as I'm constantly saying, as is the reason of this podcast. Like, so to get myself out there more and everything else, one, it would curb the loneliness that I've been feeling myself, and two, it would benefit other aspects of life. So the same can be said for yourselves, do you know what I mean? Like, as always, this is me sharing kind of what's going on in my life and what I'm learning through life so far and trying to pay it forward. And that's kind of what I've learned recently, is that the choices that you make to keep yourself away and not put in the effort, they're the choices that you need to work on and develop and pay more attention to. Because you could tick every other box just fine, but if you don't leave your comfort zone in all aspects of life, and you don't have to do it at the same time, but if you slowly leave your comfort zones and the different comfort zones in life, the amount you'll grow and the things that you can learn are endless. Because it's a new experience, so you're going to deal with it in a new way. You're going to find new information, you're going to meet new people. And to me, that's what makes life interesting. But the main kind of idea for this episode was to say, if you are feeling lonely, that it isn't forever, and that as much as this time of year can be difficult for people, it will pass, the good times and the bad. So try to hold on. Try to make it through another day. Try to do something different. Start small. You may feel overwhelmed, and you don't have to change everything overnight. But once you're aware of it, and once you start acting on it, once you start actively trying to confront that loneliness, the reasons for it, and the reasons for it, and understand it more, the more you'll be able to better your life. And again, that's what I think we all want, is to live the best life we possibly can. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this episode up now. The seed for this episode is going to be, do something out of your comfort zone. Do something out of the normal for you. Why not? What's the worst that can happen? Just try something new. All the best, and I'll catch you on the next one.